What's up? Kamusta mga ka-XU? Do you remember your first day of school? Or do you remember finding out about the coronavirus and how our school was affected? Well then, let me take you to memory lane. This is my story and like you, I am a student of XUJHS. Duh, malamang, I am a grade 9 student and a fighter. Itago niyo na lang ako sa pangalang Mina. Sa taong 2019, sa pagtapak ng aking mga paa sa gate, pinagmasdan ko ang kagandahang taglay ng aking kapaligiran. This is it, sabi ko sa aking sarili. Tumingala ako upang salubungin ang pisikal na mga pader ng XUJHS. Ang matayog na pader ay nagdala ng takot at pagkaintimida sa akin. Ngunit nagbigay rin ito ng excitement. Ako ay isang freshman. Magsisimula na sana ang bagong kabanata ng aking buhay sa lugar na hindi pamilyar sa akin at hindi yun naging madali. I needed to adjust at sa isang kisap mata ay narating ko ang ika-4 na quarter ng grade 7 at ready na akong tapusin ang taon na may pasabog. Boom panes! Ang wakas ay nagdala talaga ng malaking pasabog, ang coronavirus pandemic. Sa sandaling iyon, natakot akong mag-adjust muli. Nagbago na ang lahat at nang sa wakas, ako'y naging masaya at komportable na. Kinailangan ko muling bumalik sa umpisa. Sa pagsimula ng grade 8, naguluhan ako. Bagong-bago pa ang lahat at hindi na katulad ng dati. Ngunit sa pagkakataong ito, kinailangan kong gawin ito ng mag-isa. Hindi na ito like before. Feeling ko, parang pumasok ako sa banyagang lupain ng teknolohiya.
Binuksan ko ang aking laptop habang nagsascroll sa aking MS Teams account. This is it na naman, sabi ko sa aking sarili. Sumali ako sa aking first ever online class. Takot ang nananalatay sa akin dahil nararamdaman ko ang pagkabalisa ngunit ang pagtataka rin. Ako na ngayon ay isang sophomore. Muling nagsimula ang bagong kabanata ng aking buhay. Ngunit sa pagkakataong ito, ginawa ko ito ng mag-isa. May mga panahon na natalo ako, ngunit patuloy pa rin akong lumalaban. At sa isang iglap, narating ko ang year-ender event ng XU. And in that time, tinapos ko ang taon na may pasabog. At ang pasabog na iyon ay ang mas mabuting pagkataong nabuo ko. Pagkatapos kong malabanan ang mga pagsubok gamit ang aking katapangan nang hindi kinikilala ang salitang pagsuko. Naging karamay ko ang aking pamilya, mga kaibigan, ang XUJHS at ang Diyos na nanatili sa aking tabi. Nagmamahal, Mina.
Ito si Hannah Fabella at ako ang bahala sa pagbibigay sa inyo ng pagmamahal at alaga.
At ako naman si Jillian Paraino ang laging nandito para lamang sa inyo. You'll always have me.
And me too. And this is I Got You XU. I know you got me and I got you XU.
I want to start off by saying, kamusta na to our listeners who are stressed, mga pinaasa, nasaktan, naglilibog sa lessons, mga humana sa assignments, with a big, maayong adlaw XUJHS. Welcome to this episode of I Got You XU. We are here to remind you how to survive and vibe with online classes for this school year. This is episode 1, Survibin, the online classes.
Jillian, makarelate kayo ta sa story, no? I remember how much of a struggle it was to adjust to the XUJHS environment, especially because new student pa ako noon.
And speaking as a previous student from XUGS, I do admit that adjusting was hard. And now, grade 9 na ta, tuo ka ana. Time truly flies fast. And going back to the story we shared a while ago, the grade 9 students of this batch had to adjust 2 times in a row because kasi of the pandemic.
True. We were all finally comfortable with our lifestyles as students of XUJHS. Okay na sana lahat, but we all had to embrace a very impactful change to us as students, and same goes to the teachers, staff, and our parents.
Kung gusto nyo talagang malaman kung paano ba gawin ang Survibin na pinagsasabi namin, we would like to introduce someone na katulad natin, naghirap, nagdusa, ngunit sa huli ay nagtagumpay pa rin sa mga pagsubok na hatid ng flexible learning.
She is part of the school student government and is this school year's executive president. She too has had her share of experiences on the various changes we faced during the pandemic. Without further ado, we welcome the epitome of beauty, kindness, and intelligence, Miss Abiela Faith Madden. At Abby, take it away.
Hello. Thank you, Hannah and Jillian. Grabe naman yung introduction, parang professional ang speaker. But anyways, I do not have any experience with recording podcasts. This is the first, and just coming up with ideas along the way. So, I'll apologize in advance if I shift to Bisaya, then Tagalog, then English. Who knows? But hey, let's talk. Let's just hope this ends up interesting. I do want to say first that I really like your theme, Survibin the online classes. Grabe ang witty nyo. It all happened so fast, no? I honestly feel like the last day of school, last March 2020, was just yesterday. And here we are now facing a screen daily. But again, to be able to continue school despite the situation is already a great blessing. Let's see, how should I put this? You could call this an advice session if you want. Hindi para sa relasyon ha, pero may pagmamahal rin, lalong-lalo na sa sarili natin. Self-love, ganun. Online classes brought a lot of, we could put it as, finding ourselves. Halos lahat nag-glow up, no? To those still waiting, believe me, you don't need it. You're beautiful and handsome the way you are. As Selena Gomez would say, who says you're not perfect? But really, in the process, we've had TikTok, we've had Netflix, we've had home photo shoots, being with family, video chats, and whatever else. Which leads me to, we could describe it as number 1, productivity. In Survibin the online classes, productivity should be enjoyable rather than a burden. But how? Even I struggle with this. Sometimes I have an assignment due the next day or 3 days from now, so I take the night off and I watch 3 episodes of Netflix. Right now I'm on Outer Banks. I don't know who else is watching, but yes, that's what I binge watch the whole season sometimes, again and again, which is rest good and needed? Absolutely. But should we know our priorities? Yes. When you set your mind towards something, a goal in short, that brings in productivity. It may be learning a new hobby, finishing your scaffolds, working on your robotics kit. Focus on it. As much as possible, don't get distracted. If it even helps, we could keep social media on a lockdown. Though I understand that's what keeps us sane, even for me. I'm mostly on all the social medias. But if that's what it takes for you to focus on something, do it. But then, when you have these goals, of course we have our mind on the results, which is no harm at all. The only thing is, number 2, we have to enjoy and trust the process. Let's see it as this. You want to raise your grades in science, and the whole time you're working on it part by part, doing your worksheets, doing your scaffolds, videos, recitations, your mind is focused on already having the grade you want. This then opens up anxiety, stress, and loss of focus. See to it as kapag nasa sitwasyon ka na sa resultang ginusto mo, ano ang mga bagay na maalala mo? Siyempre, mga pinagdaanan mo papunta sa resultang iyon. And to look back at memories where you cherish the moment of each hard work, each tear, each laugh, each hawan ako kasabot, or each yes, nakuha na nako. That's what makes it up. One more thing, cherishing moments I've realized are not just the happy ones, but also the opposite of the happy ones. Because to look back on things, we could see where we came from, how we've grown. Even though sometimes we think to ourselves that over the years, life has gotten harder, yes, but we've also gotten stronger. And I don't know who can relate to this, but do you sometimes doubt your abilities, or you feel undeserving of your accomplishments? Let's say nakakuha ka ng 96 sa math, pero feel mo you're happy, but it's like you feel undeserving of it. This, I think, is often present in many of my down days, especially just being at home. It makes it kinda worse. It's where we constantly beat ourselves up, saying, dapat mas giayo pa na akong PT, dapat mas productive ko ganina, all those lines. And yes, we have to give our best, work hard, but do not end the day scolding yourself. Instead, I think we're on number 3, encourage. Be your own companion. As songs, tweets, many sayings might say, at the end of the day, you only have yourself. And maybe that's not negative, maybe that's positive. You have yourself, be your own companion. I'm not saying other people cannot encourage you, but mostly it starts with yourself, as cliche as that may sound. If you think you could have done more, just give yourself a break and get back to it. You can do more. And when you reach that accomplishment and you feel like you don't deserve it, step back, look at yourself from another perspective. Let's say as if you're your own friend. You're your own friend looking at your life and what you're accomplishing. Be kind to yourself, in short. So that's number 3. Another thing was last year, short sharing, when elections came, I chose to run for president, and I doubted a lot. Especially it being the first online elections, thinking ahead, is this what I really want to do? And I think many of us are persons who somewhat go with the flow. But alongside with this, I asked myself, was this my passion? And it was, to serve others, to be with others, and to lead by helping in as many ways as I can. Where number 4 comes in, don't give up right away. If you didn't get to solve that math problem correctly, you do it again. Try to understand it. Let's say, like me, when in elections, I thought to myself, can I really do it? And this online setup is already exhausting for me. But then it was my passion. I didn't want to give up right away. And I understand that it is so easy to say these things. But when the actual scenario comes, it's a whole different story. But if you want or need something to work, you can get it to work. If you're hesitant in sharing your ideas, think about them first, pause, and then go for it. I think we should jump right away to number 5, and that's familiarity. This has been something that took me way too long to understand and find out. But to put it as its easiest explanation possible, it's staying in your comfort zone. Only us can describe our own comfort zone. It's maybe you've gone out of your comfort zone, but you went right back in. Always going back to what's familiar to you. And your comfort zone might be out of the comfort zone of others, or it could be the opposite. This just doesn't relate to academics because our life is not just composed of school. We have many other things surrounding us. We're teenagers. Life is not at its peak yet. We're high school students, we're daughters, we're sons, we're aunts, we're uncles. And sometimes we get too caught up with school. But don't get me wrong, I'm not discouraging school at all because believe me, in my life, almost only school is composed of my weekdays because I learned that school was my comfort zone. Not necessarily comfort in the way that it brings comfort, but comfort in a way that was familiar to me, and that's where I knew I had to be. But finding ideas, finding opportunities, doing things, you should do them. Yes, as the saying goes, you only have one life. But aside from that, time doesn't wait for you. If you were in a marathon with time would probably win right away. And I think I'm down to my last advice, if you want to call it, but it's balance. Balance on things is needed. So you have 24 hours in a day. Let's say we take 8 out for sleeping, of course. So you have 16. Or maybe even 10 hours. Because we love to sleep. But let's say 16 hours. And in those 16 hours, you have school, you have assignments, chores, being with family, pets, being on your phone, taking your rest, which honestly takes up the whole 16 hours. But it doesn't have to if you focus and balance and be present in the moment. We could work things out. There are going to be some days we have to sacrifice sleep. Working extra an hour, skipping an episode on Netflix to study for your long test. Kay uso man kay ang bilar no. Murag. A lot of us only have 3 hours of sleep or sleep at 6 a.m. Which again, don't beat yourself up. If you want to be better, you work on it slowly. It doesn't have to be instant. Which leads, let's say, to the conclusion of this. It will all be worth it. The time will come where you say thank you to yourself. You look back and smile. As emotional as this sounds, that's what happens. And you deserve every rest you get, every movie you watch, every time you treat yourself, because being in this setup is honestly exhausting. But the greatest battles are given to the greatest warriors. And we all have our own battles. We're moving at our own pace. Ito rin. As a kindergarten student before, all the way to maybe 8th grade or 7th grade, I always compared my progress to others. I've always beat myself up because I'm not living as his expectations, her expectations, or I'm just not maybe same as what they're doing, and I think they're doing better. But we're all working at our own pace. And most of all, do not compare yourselves to others. I think we'll end it right there. So good morning, if good morning nyo to pinakinggan. Or good night, sleep well, if gabi. And I hope you at least got something. Doesn't have to be the whole podcast. And I hope you'll be here next month. I won't be the speaker, but I think I Got You XU will have a lot of good topics and good speakers.
Wow, talagang marami tayong matutunan. Thank you, Ate Abby, for that wonderful sharing. We hope that our listeners feel inspired by your wise and heartwarming words.
And speaking of heartwarming mga ka-Atenista, let's listen to this heartwarming song by one of pop music's biggest breakout star, Dua Lipa. Feel free to dance like you own the spotlight. Mga ka-XU, may this song remind you that I got you, moonlight in my starlight. This is Levitating by Dua Lipa. Hit it!
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I can take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm where the music don't stop for life. Glitter in the sky, glitter in my eyes, shining just the way I like. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating.
I'm one of the greatest, ain't no debating on it. I'm still levitated, I'm heavily medicated. Ironic, I gave him love and they end up hating on me. She told me she loved me and she been waiting. Been fighting hard for your love and I'm running thin on my patience. Needing someone to hug, even took it back to the basics. You see what you got me out here doing? Might have threw me off, but can't nobody stop the movement. Let's go. Left foot, right foot, levitating. Pop stars, do a leap with the baby. I had to lace my shoes for all the blessings I was chasing. If I ever slip, I fall into a better situation. So catch up, go put some cheese on it, get out and get your bread up. They always leave when you fall, but you run together. Weight of the world on my shoulders, I kept my head up. Now baby, stand up, cause girl, you
want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. My love is like a rocket, watch it blast off. And I'm feeling so electric, down so awesome. And even if I wanted to, I can't stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. My love is like a rocket, watch it blast off. And I'm feeling so electric, dance my ass off. And even if I wanted to, I can't stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating.
At dyan na nagtatapos ang episode na ito ng I Got You XU. We hope that you guys would always be reminded that we Athenians will always be there for each other. We hope you enjoyed our company and stay tuned for the next episode.
Mga ka-XU, share your thoughts about this episode and your expectations for the next ones. We have more to share and to talk about in our future episodes. Stay updated mga ka-XU because joining us will be another special and exciting speaker for our next episode. Kita-kits on the next one.
Once again, ito si Hannah Fabella at ako ang bahala sa pagbibigay sa inyo ng pagmamahal at alaga.
At ako naman si Jillian Paraylo. ang laging nandito para lamang sa inyo. You'll always have me.
And me too. And this is I Got You XU.